Okay, we're live on YouTube. Not done one of these for 3 years. Welcome to a look at crafting a ghillie suit mask. I'm Kicking Mustang, and hopefully you guys are going to enjoy this. It's not the usual kind of thing I do on the channel. If you are interested in ghillie suit crafting and invisibility hacks for airsoft, the best place to catch this sort of stuff is on Instagram, where I do this sort of stuff regularly. But today we're live on YouTube. What I'm going to be doing today, this afternoon, I'm out in my back garden, and if you play airsoft, you probably recognize one of these. This is a pretty bog standard airsoft protection mask. They look like a bit like a fencing mask. When you go to play your first game, you'll often be given one of these as a rental, at least in the UK. They provide good protection. They give full face protection, always a good thing, and they've got pretty good visibility. Today, I'm going to turn what is a pretty standard mask into hopefully what's going to be an invisibility hack for you guys. To do this, what we're going to be using, I've got some spray paint, I've got some brown, and I've got a khaki colour. These are camouflage paints that I picked up from a local car shop. As long as it's matte and it's made for camo and it's got a matte colour, it's not shiny, it should be pretty good. I'm also going to be using some acrylic paints. These are by a company called Camo Pen. I picked these up from Empire Airsoft in the UK. They're pretty good. They've got really good colours. You don't have to use these. You can pick up any acrylic paints to do this painting on this mask, as long as the colours are right. Now, the advantage of going for a company like Camo Pen, they've already got the colours pretty tuned in, pretty spot on. In fact, these colours match the holster that I'm wearing here, which is the Pencott. These are Pencott colours. So you've got the yellows, the browns, the greens. Also, what I'm going to be using, I'm going to be using the KMCS adaptive ghillie mesh. As you can see in the background, spring is here. So we've got lots of green sprouts coming up. So this stuff here is going to be really useful for creating a realistic, vivid greens. Now, when it comes to springtime, you can see how vivid these colors are. This is very, very hard. Even if you've got a professional military camouflage such as this is a Swedish M90, the colors on this are really good. But as you can see, they're never going to match the vividness of early spring growth. That is where the adaptive ghillie mesh is going to come in, and it's going to turn this into hopefully total invisibility for your face. I've also got this stuff here. This comes in the KMCS winter crafting packs. It's just cotton leaves, but we have got the colors absolutely spot on. Now, in true Kicking Mustang fashion, I'm going to warn you, my camera work is going to be a bit dodgy this afternoon because I'm on my own in the garden and it's wonky camera work. So I'm going to spin the camera around. Hopefully I can just do this. There we go. Let's take a look down. Now, these are the winter crafting leaves that you get in the KMCS packs, and they do a really good job of matching these natural leaf colours. There's the light ones, here's the dark ones, and these, even though they're just cotton, it's getting the colours right, which is the hard thing. And these are going to do a really good job of mimicking these dead leaves as we apply it to this mask here. Other stuff we're going to be using, I've got some raffia. This is coloured raffia and dyed, and importantly, it's been combed. Now, when you buy normal raffia in the shops, the colours aren't very good. They're too vivid, too white, and it's not particularly realistic. But what this raffia here is like, this is what we give you guys in the KMCS crafting packs. Now, you don't have to get this in the winter crafting packs, which I do sell. You can make this yourself, but you have to dye it, you have to comb it. It does take some treatment, but raffia does a really good job of doing impersonations of twigs, dead foliage, and breaking up the outline of this mask. And apart from that, all I'm going to need, a pair of scissors and a bunch of micro cable ties. There is one other tool you might need to do this job, which is either a sharp pointed nail, or we call them ghillie shanks, which I picked mine up in a in an old antique shop. It's used for crafting materials, but you can find them on Amazon. I can't remember the exact name of it and what we use it for. Now, a nail will do the job, but you use it to push holes through material to then thread micro cable ties, but we're going to get onto that in a minute. Right, back to the front facing cam. The first thing we need to do is, I will try to get to all the comments. If you are asking questions in the comments, I am going to try to get to your comments as best as I can. But it is just me on my own out here in the woods. I can see the comments scrolling, and I will get to as many of them as you can. If I do miss your comment, resend it and I'll try to pick it up. Yeah, so here we go. This is the fencing mask. First thing to do is to get these colours a bit more realistic. As you can see, it's not a bad base colour. It's going to match, it's almost matching the trees, but what we want to do is to get this to probably a slightly darker colour, and we're going to put a disruptive band of darkness through here. So what I need to do first is to move this camera so you guys can see. GTA Dwight is asking if this is lower face protection. Now this is full face protection. This is the kind of face protection that you will be given if you just start airsoft and you rent. Let's put it over here, and you rent. There we go. Paint. First of all, some khaki paint. Just going to dull it down a little bit. Takes a bit of the shine off it. And then we're going to use the dark brown paint, and this is going to create just a band straight across it to break up the outline of the round circle of the face. Okay, show you guys what's going on here. Spin the camera. So we just created these bands of darkness through there. So the next step is to start adding 3D textures. Now to do that, we're going to use some of these winter crafting leads, and then we're going to apply some of the adaptive ghillie mesh. And to do that, we're going to have to add cable ties. These are micro cable ties. I use a 2.5mm. If you are looking to buy these, you can pick them up from on Amazon if you can find them in brown. They're 2.5mm. Or if you are buying the adaptive ghillie mesh or winter crafting packs or summer crafting packs, you do get hundreds of these in there. They're 2.5mm cable ties, and we're going to attach those onto here. So let's do some of those. Spider-Man is asking, how can you see out of it? It's mesh, my friend. See? It's mesh, you can see through it. So to add the cable ties, we are going to, if you follow me on Instagram and Facebook, you'll know that my camera work is notoriously bad. Lucio, I love you too, mate. Thank you. So one thing I'm going to take a lot of consideration on when I'm adding the material to this mask is I want to remove these very sharp edges on the mask. You see those straight lines and these squares like this? So I'm going to try and remove that. And to do that, the first thing I need to do is to push holes through the material using this shank. When you get the hole in place, you then take your micro cable tie, thread your cable tie through that like that, and you put it through on a loop. So I'm going to do a few of those around the edges here. My advice is to do a few of these at a time. Keblet says, would it be better to have a mask? Ooh, would it be better to have a mask with glass? Well, yes and no. Glass does give very good vision, but it fogs up. Mesh has some reduced visibility, but it doesn't fog up. In the summer months especially, or in the winter when it's raining, when there's a lot of humidity, the last thing you want is to have glass fogging up and not be able to see anything. I've always used mesh, like any kind of personal protection. You need to have high quality. It needs to be tested and it needs to be high quality. Like anything, like you could buy eye protection, like stuff that looks good glass protection, or if it's not fully sealed, like I see a lot of guys wearing shooting glasses, for example, and there's gaps and the BBs can get through there and around them. They, in my opinion, they are not safe. Having a full seal face protection like this is going to be safer. A lot of people think BBs break on them. Occasionally they do break, but when it does happen, and it's a rare thing, it's like getting dust in your eye. I personally have been playing airsoft now since 2010, and I've had BBs break on my mesh countless times, and it's just like getting dust in your eyes. And in all the times I've been playing airsoft, I've never encountered anyone who's had an injury from using a mesh mask. That's just my opinion, unless someone can show me some solid evidence to prove otherwise. I will go with the evidence of what I see with my own eyes. Okay, so let's add on some of these. These are winter crafting leaves. These are made out of cotton, but we've got the colours absolutely perfectly spot on. Let's show you guys some. It's a bit wet out here, but here's some real leaves. Here are Kaz's winter crafting leaves. See how close the colours are to them, and these are clean. Once these are dirty and wet, they're going to do a really, really good impression of natural foliage. So to apply them, I'm going to either put one or two together, pinch them together like this. I'm going to pop them into the cable tie. See if I can zoom this in. Let's have a look if I can zoom this in. There we go. So we popped it into the cable tie. We're going to tighten it up a little bit, like so. And we're going to separate, put it backwards and forwards a bit. And we're going to finish tightening it. Use the scissors, clip off the cable tie. And we've got one leaf in position. We're also going to add one other colour. This is a dark leaf. I'll pop that in here. Pull it back and forwards, crumple it up a bit. One other technique that I sometimes use, let's put this up there. Hey guys, is if you want to create a ready, weathered look with these crafting leaves, put it in your mouth, chew it up, crumple it, uncrumple it. Pop it into the cable tie. Put it back and forwards. And here we are, starting to form up the 3D leaves. Next up, let's add some green. Now to add green, I'm going to be using this stuff. This is the KMCS Adaptive Ghillie Mesh. When you buy it, it comes in bundles. You get 3 colours. Mid colour, dark colour, and light colour. And what you need to do when you get your bundle, you want to take 1, 2, maybe 3 pieces together, maybe 4. Take your scissors like this, and you cut it. What I do, and then see it's sort of crumpled up in the middle, and then you cut it at an angle. And you've created these leaves. And you've got these leaves. Take 1, 2, maybe 3 leaves. Put them together like this. Pinch them together. Do you enjoy going to an actual range every once in a while? I have shot in a range, military ranges using long range rifles. It's not something I particularly enjoy. I think it's fun to do once in a while, but for me, the thrill is hunting other players playing the game of airsoft, hide and seek. Shooting is not the most fun part for me. It's actually playing the game is the most fun part for me. So we're applying this mesh, and we're using the same technique we used when we were applying the cotton leaves. Getting 2 together, crumple them up, pin them into the cable tie. Tightening it up, snipping off the cable tie. So now it's starting to form up. So they're the basic techniques we're going to be using. We apply wrapping the same way, but what I don't want to do is to put it all on in a kind of, I don't know the best way of explaining this. What I want to do is to, probably the best thing to do, let me show you, Cameron, what I'm going to do now. So they're basic techniques you've seen of how to apply this material. But what I want to do is when I'm going to apply this material to the mask, what I want is to have a picture in my mind of a pattern. So it could be like this DPM pattern, this M90 pattern, or it could be looking at the floor. When you look at this floor here, what I might do is envisage, let's say we've got this dark band here. So we've got this dark band through the mask, something similar. We've got this dark band here. We're going to put some of this bright, vivid green adaptive ghillie mesh in an area. We're going to have an area of the autumn leaves, and then we're probably going to have a bare area and an area here. And that is what I'm going to do with this. So in my mind, I'm thinking I want to have a patch of greenery here. I probably want to have a band of leaves down here, perhaps leave this area darkish here, and then more leaves down here. So it's going to be a really, really disruptive pattern over the mask. And the way to do that is to use the ghillie shag, put on loads of cable ties all over it with this picture in your mind to create the pattern. Let's go through some of these questions, shall we? So I've not done too many of these live streams before. How? Oh, here we go. I can see all your questions. Let's scroll some questions. Excellent. I can see your questions, boys. Okay. So Operator 06 Airsoft says, isn't it dangerous without eyeglasses because the BBs can explode when hit it? No, it's not. There's two, but I've been playing Airsoft for, I think I just touched on this. I've been playing Airsoft for, what? This is my 13th year. I've never experienced any injuries from BBs breaking on mesh. I've not seen any evidence of it. I've not been presented with it. I have seen people wearing shooting glasses, and they're not fully sealed. Fully sealed eye protection is way more important. Operator 06 Airsoft says, I'm playing for the first time in Rio de Janeiro in the 28th of May. I am next month. Looking forward to that. KRB Plays says, what would you recommend as a first beginner pew? I just recently bought a semi-auto and I'm wanting to try something a little bigger. I think the best, anything by Tokyo Marui, I would personally go for it. I love, even though it's got a little bit of, even though it's a little bit expensive, I would probably go for the Tokyo Marui MP5 SD. Foxy Tar says, what about painting your face? You could paint your face, but it's not as good. It's not as good as having a full balaclava, having a full face mask. It's just not. It just doesn't work as well. Cabot says, when you are flying out to South Africa, you're looking forward to South Africa again. I am, mate. I'm coming to the South African Airsoft Festival at the end of the month, and I think I'm probably playing at Old Kempton Hospital when I'm out there as well. Sebastian, yeah, I'm wearing M90. Spider-Man James says, where do you buy this stuff? Paints are pretty much available anyway. You can search on eBay, Amazon. There's my dog. You can buy cottons anywhere, but to get the colours right is not easy. The same with raffia. The easiest thing to do is to buy my winter and summer crafting packs, which are available in the UK at Empire Airsoft. They are available in the US at Amped Airsoft, in Canada at One Shot Airsoft, and in Europe at Mantis Concept Brothers. Now I can't put links on the stream, one because YouTube is very quick to demonetize stuff. I'll put the links on. Suck It and See says, what jacket am I wearing? I am wearing an Arctis. It's made by Arctis. This is actually a rain shield. It's actually a waterproof rain shield by Arctis, UK company. Someone said the stream died. The stream's still good, I think. It still looks okay to me. Rahul says, are you coming to Airsoft X or the Kempton event? I'm hopefully coming to both, my friend. Hey, Operator 06, stop spamming it, mate. JN9 says, use a thermal scope to counter it. Well, you could. It's I don't know too many people with thermal scopes though. Evil Empire Gaming, welcome to the channel. Dan, those ring pools I use are amazing, aren't they? There's my dog. Bailey, hello, boy. Rebels ask, am I going to come and play in the States soon? I am, actually. I'm coming in June. I'm coming to play near Illinois. Cabs Hills, I hope I get to meet you this year down in South Africa. Spider-Man James says, how am I so good at airsoft? Being obsessed, mate, playing way too much. Memerson brings up a good point here. Memerson says, it's cool how you change your silhouette so people don't see the outline of a human. It's more like an oddly shaped bush. This is very true. I've often said it's not even about blend. Sometimes you don't have to blend in as long as you fit in. So I don't know, like look at this. Look at this background, this shape here. That is not fitting in, is it? It's standing out. You can see that. But it fits in. Like if that stood up and it was a sniper, which I'd be scared shitless because there shouldn't be a sniper there. That if that was a sniper, you can see him, but you don't think it's a sniper. So you don't have to blend in as long as you disrupt your human shape and you're not moving, and you look like you belong there. You don't have to blend in perfectly. Does that make sense? James Downing says, Was I a stalker at any point? No. I just love playing hide and seek, my friend. Glock or 1911 Glock? I'm not a fan of 1911s. I never have been. I just don't like them. I've got a beautiful 1911, but it shoots nice, but I just not a fan of them. Liam Bailey says, "Have I been allowed back to some sites yet? Because I love watching you." Liam, there's these sites that have banned me. 95% of them I've not even been to. So to say that I can't be allowed back because I've never been to them in the first place. Skull air guns. Thank you, dude. I appreciate that, mate. Foxy, do I think boonie cap with fake leaves a good camouflage? I do. A lot of guys wear boonie caps. The only thing you got to be careful with a boonie cap, I don't know whether I can show you here. So with this cap, a boonie cap does the same thing. If you're wearing a boonie and it's got a rim on the front like this baseball cap, it creates a shadow. And when you're at distance, that shadow is quite visible. So that's what I would say. Be a little bit careful. Oh, someone's behind me. That's right. So yeah, there you go. You see the shadow. A boonie cap can create a shadow like that, and that dark shape is going to give you away. So if you're really into concealment, I would suggest cutting off the rim on your boonie cap. Liam asks, "What is my favourite airsoft view?" I think it's changed recently. My favourite airsoft is the Tokyo Marui AKM, which I've fitted with an angry gun, RD704 front end, and it is absolutely incredible. Absolutely love that thing. B Sing says, "How's it going, man? Love the content. Keep on, keep on." Thank you, dude. I will. Um, I'm in the middle of editing. I went to the Chambers in Belgium a couple of weekends ago. I'm in the middle of editing that footage at the moment. It wasn't the best 2 days because it was absolutely tipping it down with rain, and there wasn't many players there, and it was just really heavy rain, so the gameplay was quite slow. But I should have a decent gameplay out of it. It's on the way. Cabis, I will certainly be looking out for holes at Kempton Hospital. That's for sure. Can I show my Sty Scout camo wraps? Asked Joxley, and how I do it. So similar techniques to what I'm using on this mask here, which my live stream's got a bit distracted by answering your questions. Paint it, stick on mesh, use the leaves, winter leaves, use AGM, adaptive Ghillie mesh, use raffia. Dr. Master, I don't know, mate. I've no idea. It's probably 40 something. But I've never heard, most of these places I've never heard of, let alone been to. What are my thoughts on the Silverback SRS? I've got a love-hate relationship with the Silverback SRS. It's probably my most used bolt action, but I hate the platform. I hate the way it feels. I hate the way it works. I hate the balance of it, but it shoots so good, and this is why I use it. Airsoft University. That's interesting. Airsoft University. How you doing? Says, "Hey there, Kicking Mustang. I've always been curious. How well do your loose-fitting ghillie suits stand up to being hooked on trees and shrubs?" The KMCS, mate, is super strong. Like I've often said, it's like a suit for life. Now, like my pair of winter KMCS trousers that I've been using now. This is the third year I've been using them. They've just got holes in them, and I've repaired them. But they're essentially it's a suit for life, mate. Especially the tops, the legs, the trousers. You may find you get a few holes in, but they're ripstop and this is a suit for life, mate. Audi Visa '09 over in Brazil is coming to the event in Rio. There's a field in Rio which is it's like an abandoned industrial town. It looks incredible, and that's where I'm going to play it. It's called the Ghost Factory. It looks absolutely incredible. Super Yeti, would you recommend an SRS or a TAC 41? If I was talking about this. There's a YouTube channel called Jaeger Precision. I was hanging around with him. Popped over to have a chat and to have a look at some of his things he's been doing. I was talking about this exact subject. Now, if I lost all of my stuff overnight, if say my house was blown up in a gas explosion or a Chinese spy balloon landed on it and destroyed everything or something, the thing I would go for first would be a modified Steyr Scouts. It's good to go out the box and it would get you back in, and that's what I think is the go-to. Have I been to any airsoft fields in Chesterfield? No, I have not. Did I fix the bad bolt action that was jamming? I can't remember. Scar Airsoft, what's up, mate? What do I think of the SSR4 as a starting weapon? It shoots good. The one that I had, I lent to my friend. What's my dog doing over there? Bailey, what are you doing? Bailey, come back here. Bailey, come back. He's over the other side of the fence. Bailey, come back here. Come on, find your way back. It's causing trouble. Am I going to go to the Airsoft Fest? What's the Airsoft Fest, Foxy? I've not heard of that, mate. Brian says I should start my own field. Maybe, mate. Maybe it's on the cards. Would I come to Australia and play gel blasters? I've had a go with some gel blasters. They're not great, are they? Let's be honest. But I wouldn't mind it. I'd love to come to Australia and have a look at what you guys are doing. Rahul, I don't have any preference for sniper scopes. I think my favourite one is on my Steyr Scout, and that is a Vortex. Giuseppe says, are fake leads good enough? Well, let's have a look at those there. Obviously, I haven't put many on, but you can see. What do you think? See? You see what I was talking about with you in the stream earlier? I was talking about this area, trying to replicate this area here. That's the fake. Are the fake leads good enough? You tell me. Fake, real. Fake, real. Fake, real. But here's the important thing here is applying that stuff to the mask, like just applying it itself, those techniques is not that hard to learn. What is hard to learn, and it only comes from practice, is to spend the time applying this stuff to your equipment, your gear, your webbing, your suits, taking it out into the natural environment like we are here, seeing what it looks like in the natural environment like we are here, and looking with your own eyes about how it looks. And then you build a picture, and you build, you don't just throw it on randomly, because you need to build, it's like painting a picture. You have to paint that picture, and that only comes from practice. Like, you can learn the techniques of applying it, but then to put it into practice and to create a effective invisibility cloak or ghillie suit it takes practice. That's all. Spider-Man says, I love your channel. There's a lot of grown-ups there liking your general, but I'm 10 years old. Oh, wow, mate. Youngster. Welcome. Joxy says, any chance to get the new John Wick pistol? Is it just me? I don't think that John Wick pistol is very attractive. Do you? I just don't like the look of it. IR Corpus says, the human eye will see movement more than an outline. But we also notice a shape that doesn't fit the landscape. That comment there is really important, by IR Corpus. Movement, it doesn't matter how good your camo is. It doesn't matter how good your concealment and your colors are. If you're moving, you're going to be seen. And it's the same as if you've got if you're covered in, where's it gone? If you're covered in this green stuff here that looks perfectly like that moss, let's say, or this grass, let's say you've got a suit that's perfectly matching that grass there, but you are a human shape and you're a perfect human shape. Your opponents will pick it up. Your opponents will see this human shape that just because it's made out of perfectly natural looking materials and leaves, if there's no disruption to that human shape, you're going to be noticed. Think about the sky and clouds. When there's clouds in the sky, your brain sees things. If you look up in the sky at clouds, think, oh, that cloud looks like a person, or that cloud looks like a dog, or a cow, or a bird, or an aeroplane. And it's not. It's a cloud that kind of looks like something that your brain recognizes. The same happens when you're out in the forest stalking. If you look like a human, your opponents are going to spot you. Cab says he's built 3 traditional style suits, reinforced the front for crawling. One is using 32 battalion camo out cuts, but your stuff is game changing. So what's happened in the last few years on the airsoft scene is we've taken the art of building ghillie suits to another level that has not been seen. You go back 10 years, it did not exist. And the reason we've done that is because when we're playing airsoft, we're playing in much closer proximity to our opponents than a real military operator would be working in. So, and also we have to have 360-degree concealment. So you could end up lying down on the ground like this. You could be lying face down like this. Your whole face, your front, your back, your sides at any moment might be facing your opponents at airsoft at close range. So we've taken the materials and the techniques to another level. And that is where adaptive ghillie mesh comes in. That is where this stuff here, it's not just getting the color right, it's the way it reacts to light. And it's the way it becomes super vivid. When the light hits it, it's not just like 2A mesh. When the light hits it, it goes from being a good color to a really vivid color, and it matches. You see how those, it's hard to say because I haven't brought a full suit out. There you go. So you see how the colors change from being dark down there. When it goes into the light, it becomes this really vivid color that matches that green natural vegetation behind it. This kind of material here has changed ghillie crafting. That material was not available 10 years ago. And it's meant that we can create the most realistic concealment outfits ever in history because of this material and the techniques that the airsoft scene has developed. Because we're playing a game at much closer ranges. And I think that's cool. I think the airsoft scene should be proud of what it's done. Plus, you asked if I was in the armed forces. I was not. Before I became an airsofter, I was a trader. I traded financial futures, interest rates. Someone's asking me about Cybergun FNP90. I don't know anything about those, mate. McChief1 says shapes attract the brain. They sure do. As we were saying earlier, like you can have the perfect camo, but if you look like a human, you're going to get seen. You may not have the perfect camo. You could be that lump there, and it's not that well camoed, but you don't think it's a person because it's not a person. But if that was a person, you wouldn't think it was a person, even though you can see them, if that makes sense. Bubbles, is it just you, or you've never probably seen my face? Maybe not, mate. I always wear a mask when I'm playing. What is the best way to prevent looking like a human? Asked Zaki. Well, first thing, you've got to lose these features. So someone mentioned about face paint earlier. The problem when you're wearing glasses, you get these dark areas around your eyes, really vivid. You see those two darks. You see mouth. You see anything that's human shaped. So a veil over the front of your face, a balaclava, a hood that disrupts this head and shoulders shape. Bulk up this area here. Bulk up this area here to disrupt that. That's pretty much the only way. Your legs. You've got 2 legs. Try to perhaps wear a tail, something that's going to go between those legs. Or if you're standing, not moving, look at the trees. Trees are one thing. Humans have 2 legs. If you're stood like a V like that, that V is going to give you away. So if you're standing whilst playing, stand with your legs together. then you look more like a tree. Don't stand with your legs apart. Stand with your legs together. That's a good tip. DJ Mastergroove says, I'm an absolute legend. Thank you, dude. I appreciate that. He really enjoys the video. Very entertaining and funny. Thanks. Am I in Lincolnshire? I'm not in Lincolnshire. Thoughts on airsoft versus paintball? I've never played paintball, but I like the stuff I see from paintball. There doesn't seem to be that much moaning about getting shot in the head, which I like. I think in airsoft, like we all, like tempers always get frayed, don't they? Adrenaline's flowing, things happen. You know, we all lose our temper, and we all like get frustrated at times. It's a game. It's high. There's often a lot of adrenaline flowing, and there's a lot. You put a lot into the game, but don't complain about being shot. That's it. And that's what I see in paintball. I don't see people complaining about being shot in paintball. They expect it. What do you guys think? I've always fancied trying paintball, but I just think airsoft is cooler, isn't it? The fire's further, more accurate. My top 3 favourite camo patterns. I love Swedish M90. I love Pencock Green Zone. This is my KMCS hide holster, by the way. That's available if you want to buy one of those. They're available there at Empire Airsoft. Hey there, I've been trying to cover somehow my goggles. Any advice? You've got to cover the shape of them. So maybe glue mesh onto it. Try to disrupt the straight lines around the glasses. It's hard but the problem is there because you're wearing glasses. You're going to stop air flowing. It's going to steam up. It's very difficult. iPro is very difficult to get right, isn't it? Memerson says his tactics as a kid is close your eyes. I know that's a joke comment, but often playing hide and seek and being a good ghillie sniper is at times a confidence trick. I know that's a joke you made about playing hide and seek and keeping your eyes closed. That's kind of a confidence trick. You close your eyes and just go, I'm not going to be seen. I'm not going to be seen. When I'm ghillie sniping, often it's just a case of having confidence in your concealment, not moving, and just being, it's a confidence trick. It's very easy to panic, pull your gun up, and that movement's going to give you away. Andy says, paintball, you have to wear a full head mask. You'll protect. Exactly. If Airsoft implemented a full face protection rule, people wouldn't complain about headshots. Christian says, I'm crazy. I'm not going to disagree with that. And he loves my videos. Thank you, dude. Trap Mind says, too many snowflakes these days. He expects to be headshotted if that's all he can see. Exactly. Samara Varna says she's never played Airsoft, but loves the videos. Thank you, I appreciate that. Rivero says, I've no idea what you're talking about, nor what you said, but seeing my face and hearing my voice makes her happy. Thank you, I appreciate that. Mike says UK dual limits are too low for BBs to explode. In the US, it's high enough to explode. That's an interesting point, Mike, because I only play in the UK, so the BBs don't really break up so much. That's a fair point. What's my KD ratio? If I play and I don't have at least a 4 or 5 to 1 KD ratio, I've normally had a bad day. Afros, where did I learn marksmanship? Just practicing, mate. Just playing and playing and playing and playing and playing. One thing, if you are practicing, like it's one thing just practicing shooting by just going to a range or sitting in your back garden, lining up your shots and shooting. But you've got to be able to shoot in different positions. So get yourself in very unusual, like curl yourself up in difficult positions or You've also got to be tired. Like go running or something, and then shoot. You've got to put yourself in those stressful situations, whether it's positions or physically tired, and then practice. That's the only way you could practice really, or just play a lot. I play a lot. Where am I right now? I am in my back garden. What are my goals for 2023? Asked Sebastian. My goals for 2023 are just to carry on enjoying airsoft, and making content, and love making content. That's all you can. That's all you can do in life, isn't it? Enjoy it. If you don't enjoy what you do, you've got to really consider whether you're doing the right thing. As long as you enjoy doing what you're doing, carry on, crack on. Any recommendation upgrades for the AAP one? I do not, but there are loads of groups on Facebook. Hope you recovered good from your accident in South Africa, says Corpus. Well, that when I've still got some. I'm not going to go to that. I've still got a little few niggles from that, but it's okay. Do I believe in the five S's? Shape, shine, silhouette, shadow, space. Yeah, for sure. Have I ever been tempted to play with an LMG instead of a sniper? Maybe. It's not as fun though. Sniping is fun, isn't it? Landing those single shots are just fun. You also need to learn moving shooting target. Exactly. Kerblers says you need to learn shooting moving target if you can. A lot of the shots, especially when sniping, you've got to gauge where they're going to be moving to and land your shots when they get there. Being ambidextrous helps a lot. I'm not ambidextrous. I'm not. My garden does need a trim. All this new veg is coming up, isn't it? Ever think about using claymores? Yeah, I have actually. The trick is difficult is going to be to recording them going off to make it fun for you guys to watch. DD says warm welcome from Indonesia. Thank you. I've never been to an event in Poland, but I would like to. My friend Jadrick plays out in Poland, and he's an amazing player. Have a look at Jadrick. JDREK. Once you leave the stream, he's got some really cool content. Wardy says he thinks I should give the MTW a try again. And I was super disappointed with it. It just didn't work for me. I know there are some really amazing MTW setups that people use, but I've got another couple of HPA M4 builds on the way, which are really interesting. Kerbley says, "Have you ever used thermal?" I have not. Put a video up of me in my suit. I find, yeah, I could do that. Joey, I've never been to the Airsoft Festival in the UK. What are you doing, boy? Bailey, come here. Bailey. Bailey. I was watching that Trap Mines. I thought it just going over rehashing stuff though, wasn't it? I did see that pop up on my stream. Cabs, no problem, mate. See you soon, dude. I've never played at a Bulgarian event. Alexander Piv. I've not heard of Viper 7 either. Is it a cool event? What's going on there? Joey asked if the Mach 11 is worth getting. It's a lot of fun. It's not necessarily effective, but it's a hell of a lot of fun. What advice would you give? Airsoft University says, what advice would you give a player in regards to picking the correct moment to take a shot at a contact and maintain your concealment? It's quite a big question now. A lot depends on the situation. So things I consider obviously is my battery's running low, it's down to 10%. Things I consider is whether the shot's going to give my position away, whether the sound is going to give me away, who I'm hitting first. So let's say I'm going to go for two players. Let's say there's three players coming towards me, and I think there's a very high chance they're going to spot me when they get really close, and I've got a silent MK23. And those 3 players are walking towards me. The first player, as soon as there's any kind of noise that may help conceal my shot, I will take the shot. And my first shot will be at the last player coming towards me, the back player. The reason my shot will be at the back player almost always is because I'm assuming none of them are going to hear my shot, or if they do, it's going to be really quiet, but they will hear the player at the back shout hit. And the first thing players normally do is when they hear someone shout hit, they turn and look towards the player who shouted hit. Hit the player you want, that's going to cause all the other players to turn away from you. Then when they turn away from you, pop, pop, you take all 3 out. The problem is if you take the shot and you hit the person in front of you, they're going to be looking your direction. When you maybe move your gun for the second shot, they're going to see the movement. If you miss, you're then in big trouble. So yeah, there you go. How's that for a tip? I could play in my backyard. I actually might be having a game the next day or 2 here with my neighbour. Is my favourite movie Enemy at the Gates? No, Predator. Predator is my favourite. I love that movie. And on that note, guys, because my battery is running low, I'm going to say, first of all, sorry that I did not do more crafting. My progress on the crafting did not go well, did it? Apologies for that. But I will say thank you very much for everybody joining this live stream. I wasn't planning it. I just kind of was out here and I thought, damn it, let's just press play and go live. It's been really cool with you guys. I appreciate all the support for the channel. And yeah, you guys are awesome. Thanks. I appreciate being able to do this thing I love doing so much. And I've got so many travels planned for you. Hopefully got some amazing adventures coming up in the next few months. I'm heading to South Africa. I'm heading to America. I'm heading to Brazil. I've got an event in France, and I've got an event in Belgium coming up in the next few months. So hopefully you guys are going to have some epic content to see. Guys, thank you very much for joining the live stream. Have a great weekend and enjoy your airsoft wherever you're playing. Thanks, guys. Take it easy.